time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly.
What time is it? PB&J, when they see me, they say that the song is legit. Tastes so great when it's dunked in the grape. Tell me what's your flavor? Strawberry dip? You can choose either because either one will do. Yes. Have to eat, I got something fun for you. I got the munchies, I need something munchable. What? Something tasty like a Lunchable. Telling you about it with a crazy flow. With the fruit dip, you control the ratio. Stay away from other prototypes. This right here is the perfect bite. Want something light before dinner time? Listen to it when I tell it with a steady rhyme. Better be the one that's ready when you go into the refrigerator when it's peanut butter jelly time.
Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly.
I don't wanna drink my beer alone. I don't wanna drink my whiskey solo. I don't wanna drink my drink alone. 'Cause I've got something sweet to tell. I don't wanna drink wine by myself. I would rather have a glass with you from top shelf. I don't wanna drink my beer alone. 'Cause
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. I've got the looks that drives a girl wild. I've got the moves that really move 'em. I said chill up and down their spine. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I make them hot. I make them shiver. Their knees get weak whenever I'm around. They see me walk. They hear me talk. I make them feel like they're on cloud nine. I'm just a sexy boy.
Sexy boy.
I'm not your boy toy.
Boy toy.
I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not
What's
your
going on,
boy
everybody?
toy.
Gonna wait for some folks to wander in today. I'm not sure how popular or not this stream is gonna be, but we're gonna find out. We are gonna find out. Did I make sure that I get it? Man, I always screw up the starts of these streams when I throw it up, and I sometimes forget to put it into music, and sometimes it goes into gaming instead. So that's kind of a bummer. But anyways. How's it going, everybody? My name is Tyler, and I'm sorry I wasn't here yesterday as I had hoped. It's just too hot in here. And as mentioned in previous times, yeah, if it's too hot in here and I can't be comfortable, I'm not going to stream. I just can't. It's just too hot. And you got the lights and the fans can't be going because you've got the mic going. It's really, really difficult. I've heard that same thing from several other streamers. Like, streaming when it's hot is really tough because you have to have fans. If you're in the chat, let me know the chat is working so we can move forward with the chat, or sorry, with the stream. Say hello. I am here. I will not bite. We are hanging out today. We are doing some, just having some fun with old plugins. Thermionik being the old plugin series, the plugin collection put out back in the day. And I still don't have a chat here. Can someone let me know if the chat's working? Because I see people and I don't have a chat. So I'm constantly in this like PTSD of like back in the day when we used to constantly struggle with that. Our chat's like just completely screwing up. So yeah, if you're out there, drop me a line, even if it's just like an exclamation point or something to, hey, there we go. Testing. Thank you. I'm hanging out today, and we're going to talk about these old plugins and how they just kind of went poof one day, and why they went poof one day, and how and why they should they should unpoof. Yeah, that's the terminology. That's going to be in the dictionary next year. Just say it enough. That's all Word has to do to become part of the dictionary, is you just have to, a certain generation just has to say it enough, and then the people at the dictionary the people that make the dictionaries are like, well, I guess we got to put that in there. Since the kids are all saying it, we need to put, what's the newest one? The newest one was like ridiculous. Skibidi? Skibidi is now in the dictionaries. Dictionary. I guess it's not in just one. It's in all. How's it going? MPC, who are you? Nice to see you. MPC. Are you brand new to the channel? Please let me know if you are. I would appreciate it. And if you are brand new to the channel, always let us know if you're brand new. We have a few plugins. We're going to be testing all of our own random plugins, pedal plugins today. And this is one of them right here. It's brand new. As far as I know, it's free. This is from VZ Tech and Ton Guitarra, one of our very loyal watchers, viewers, subscribers, followers. He wants to see this, and he wants to see this. He wants to know what we think. So we're going to try this with some of our amps today. These have always been really great plugins at working well with outside pedal plugins and outside IRs. We're going to go over plenty of different IRs. We're going to have a nice long session of tones today. We're going to talk some shit. We're going to talk a little bit about Brent Hines passing away. Since we mentioned it last stream, but I nuked the stream. I nuked it because it just wasn't particularly... Wow, that melted the ice cube already. Jeez Louise. Pedro, I'm new. More or less. Well, you've been lurking for a while and just decided to jump in today? Nice. And for jumping in today, you are going to win your choice of plugin from Aurora DSP. Thank you so much to Aurora DSP for sponsoring this new subscriber, new viewer initiative that we've got going. And by any means, though, if we ever catch anybody being really dishonest with this, using like multiple new accounts to get plugins, that would really be really shitty. Don't do that, because one other guy did it when we were doing it on a past channel, and we nuked. He never came back. Just don't do that. Be honest, okay? So if you're brand new and you're not talking, we have an initiative, the non-lurker initiative. If you're out there and you're subscribed, so you have to be subscribed as well. So subscribe to the channel, make sure you're subscribed, and you're chatting in the chat even once in a while. First timers, pow, we're gonna get you. So you're gonna get your choice of plugin from Aurora DSP. Just jump in there, let me know what you want. And then email me at theampsimuniverse@gmail.com. Real easy. And I will take care of you. We will take care of you. Make sure you get an account at Aurora DSP, and we'll take care of you for sure. So welcome, MPC. We appreciate you being here. My name is Tyler. Welcome to the Amp Sim Show, episode 154. And we were going over an old pedal and amp collection, as we don't have the pedals right now. I don't have any of the pedals loaded up, but that's okay. We're going to use our own. Trust me that there are pedals as well, and they're all pretty good. Now, you see, back in the day, before graphic design could be done partially with AI, and before lots of really good graphic designers for UIs started kind of making themselves apparent. Back in the day, those guys that could, or gals or whomever, those designers could make or break your plugin. Technically, they could give you that realism, like, oh, that looks so much different, but it would cost you. So what a lot of companies did was they just focused their money, their resources, their time, their effort, their motivations. They focused everything on just the tone and made the looks just very plain Jane. Enter the Thermionik collection. These were... Now, it's harder for you to see this if you're a newer user, if you've just come around and say like the last 5 years of amp sims, even the last 5 or 6 maybe or so. It's tough to explain to you that at the time, this was cutting edge. These were the best of the best of the best. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So they were literally the best of the best of the best with honors. These were the best that you could get, and everyone was buying these and chomping at the bit for Shane at Kazrog to do more. They're like, you had to be there. You really had to be there and see the excitement that surrounded the various, the various bundles that would come out. There was this bundle or that bundle and the high gain, and eventually it all became one large bundle, which ended up being discontinued by Kazrog because reasons. I understand that his motivation at the time, and I'm not trying to speak for the developer at all in this case, because I have spoken to Shane in the past a few times, but I don't know him well enough to be able to sit here and speak at all for him. Whereas some developers, I can speak a little bit more officially. Shane and I are not, I don't talk to him often. So I'm going to make this very sort of what I know is what maybe I know. As far as I understood, he took it off. And now if Shane ends up watching this or someone else knows maybe a different story, please do end up commenting with it, because that's totally fine. And by the way, if Shane ends up watching this as well, I'd love to have Shane do like an Amp Sim AMA or some sort of thing, like come into the chat with us and just answer questions. So I'm going to throw that at him, see if maybe he wants to drop by as we use Thermionik someday and maybe talk to us about it. That would be super cool, because I have to say, and you guys, I don't hide this very well, is that Kazrog has always been and always will be one of my favorite developers on this planet, because I believe in the way Shane does things. I believe that he does not cut corners. He refuses to cut corners, and I fucking love that in a developer. There are developers right now that their whole thing is cutting corners, cutting as many corners as we can, while still convincing the user that this sounds as good as possible. Shane is exactly the opposite of that. He is Kazrog, Mercurial Audio. These are companies that have existed for a long period of time. They predate companies like Neural DSP, STL Tones, although not Ignite Amps. That's would run along in the same timeline roughly. But these companies, and now Shane's mandate has always been, it will get done when it's done, and it gets done when I feel that this particular piece of software represents the OG, the real deal, as good as I can possibly make it happen. And that to me is just something you don't see a lot of anymore in this industry. And now it's about just pumping things out like video games, quarterly, get it out, fast, rush, profile. Kazrog is not that way. So now I'm just trying to set the table and set the scene for you guys, because back in the day when one of these would come out, forums would erupt. Everyone would be talking. Every guitarist that used plugins would be talking. The Sneap forums, and if you were back, show of hands, who was on the Sneap forums back in the day? Anybody? Is there anybody that's still like on those, or like, some of the, there was Sneap forums, and there was, what was it, Gear Talk, a number of other forums back in the day. It wasn't about social media. It was about forums. It was all about forums. Sure, social media existed, but maybe not as was definitely not as prevalent as it is right now. So it's one of those things where, wow, that is much too loud to be talking over. I'm yelling. We are in the wrong area right now. We got to go back to the other playlist. Although I don't terribly mind this song. I wouldn't mind having more ska in there, to be honest. So, these were very talked about. This was cutting edge. Let's get this chat happening. Can we do that? Hey, come on. Can we get the chat happening right now? I see 5 people in the house, and I know it's not, this is going to be a slow burn. I think by the end of this one, we're going to have some people in the house. But, man, I'm also going to make sure that I reach out to the fellas and let everybody know, hey, drop in. This is pretty kick-ass. So, hello to Pedro. Hello, Bo. Hello, MPC. And that leaves a few more faces. How often do I make live content? I thought you were free the weekend. I've seen you 2 times. Okay, well, generally live content can be kind of tough. Generally, I like to make sure that I'm on Fridays and Saturdays. But that depends. We're kind of in summer hours right now. So from as I have holidays in the summertime, it gets a little tougher to predict when we're doing things because Saturdays and Sundays could also mean volunteer days. I try to kind of work my best at trying to make sure there's a stream every Friday at between 4 and 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, and then Saturdays usually something in between 3 and 4:30, somewhere in that ballpark. Summer hours are a bit different. Summer, I've kind of got to get on when I can get on. And yesterday is usually, I wanted to come on and stream, but yesterday was just so freaking hot in this house that I could not bring myself to get on and do it. Also, I was having some stomach issues that I wouldn't have been a good stream. So if I know it's not going to be a good stream, I can't do it. As for live guaranteeing, as far as September, next week, my holidays are over. So we were going to be going back to a pretty rigid schedule. The schedule will be probably jumping out to Fridays at 4:30 Eastern time p.m. and Saturday roughly the same thing. Sundays will be an occasional bonus, and during the week will also be an occasional bonus. Eventually, I also hope to be doing more pre-recorded stuff, like shorter, 10 to 20 minute reviews on single products. So that is coming eventually when I can get the time. But right now, also explaining that I have several jobs in the amp sim industry, and that also takes up some of my time while I also have volunteer work and everything else. So I try to get on as much as I can, but I appreciate that that you're curious and that you want to kind of be in the chat for more streams. So I would say you're guaranteed. I put your notifications on for the channel. I'd say you're guaranteed almost pretty much 99% of the time Fridays. From now on, I don't think we're going to be getting a lot more hot days that are going to be too hot for streaming. So it's going to be likely moving into the fall. We'll be able to stick it to this rigid 4:30 Fridays and so on. So I hope we able to try that again. I hope you're able to drop into the chat for more streams, as we could always use more people here that want to talk tech. All right, we've got 7 people in the house, guys. Reach out to me, say hello, and MPC rather, make sure you don't forget. Email me, theampsimuniverse@gmail.com. We'll make sure we get you hooked up. I've got to do one other one today as well. I didn't have a laptop this week. Had to go buy a Chromebook. So that was how I usually do my license generation for Aurora DSP. And unfortunately, I've not been able to do that. So, awesome, man. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. 7 people in the house. Hi, what's going on? We're going to be looking at doing some looking at, some just demoing the old Thermionik stuff and listening to it through some more current IRs as well is going to help. Back in the day, a lot of the IRs we were using were really good. Don't get me wrong. Own Hammer, Red Wires, and all that has been around for a long period of time. But there's been some developments, and there have been some different companies that have come around that have been really, really strong. We're going to start it out with you guys, anybody that's watched a lot of streams know where I'm going to start this stream, and that is my very favorite IR of all time, and that is the Dr. Bonkers SoundLab EGA 412, and the file is where specifically you go to the Hyperreal mixes, and it's the 414 Hype Real mix. All right. So we're going to get started. If there's anything you guys want to get me, make sure that I get in here. I'm going to be on here for probably 2+ hours today. So if there's anything you guys want me to make sure I get in here, let me know. I'm going to go down the list of what we have available from the Thermionik collection. There's a few amps I left out because they were the softer, more vintage stuff. And we're not really after that with the Iceman today. So here's what we have. We have an Engel Savage 120. We have a couple of different rectifiers. We have a Friedman HBE. We have a couple of different VH4s, diesel VH4s. We have the silver face and the blue face, which, Bo, are you in the chat? If Bo's in the chat, I will get Bo to see if he can help us out with the exact differences between the silver face and the blue face. I remember looking it up when I did the review for Honest Amp Sim reviews way back for this collection, which was, I might add, our most even after it was discontinued, was still, I had to take it right off the website. I had to delete it. We had legacy posts up for stuff that was discontinued. We had to take it right off because every single month, this was still our #1 read post was the Thermionik collection. It was crazy. So even a couple year or so after it was discontinued, people were still reading all about it, and we were told that our reviews were some of the best out there for the products. And I remember looking it up, but I can't remember the differences now. Oh, we also have the M2 CP, which is the Mark II C Plus. We have a Mark IV from Mizubugi. We have a Marshall JCM 800, and we have 3 different JMPs that all feature one. I think one is. Hang on a sec. One of them, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, come on now. Can I move this? No, I can't. Anyways, there are a few different JMPs. There's the JMP. This is a Marshall JMP. This is the Soldano mod. This is the Jose Arredondo mod. And if you don't know who that is, essentially you can think about the Neural DSP Fort and Cali, for example. That is meant to be sort of some of those mods were invented rather by Jose Arredondo, as far as I understand. Bo is going to correct me on that if he's still in the chat, 100%. Now, I will also say that Mike Soldano is also known as being one of the best Marshall modifiers in the entire universe, and eventually started his own company. And then lastly, you just have a regular Marshall JMP. Then we go down the list. We have a Marshall Plexi, 3 different 5150 amps of that family. One of them being an EVH, 2 of them being PV, and we're going to delete one of them. We're going to delete the Psycho A, which is the block letter. And I'll tell you why. The reason that we're going to take that right out, I'm not even going to bother, is because they have replaced it with a plugin called the Kazrog Ampcraft 1992. This is the best 5150 you will ever hear. Hand on it. I would tell you right now, there's probably no more accurate and reliably accurate and realistic plugin for the 5150 sound over that. I will tell you that right now. My opinion, you don't have to agree, but tell me you've tried it out. So we'll take that one out, because as far as I understood, initially, Shane, again, going back to it, the reason these came off the market was because Shane, if I'm understanding it, Kazrog decided that they just didn't compete anymore. They were sort of sitting there. The whole bundle was $50, $50 for this entire bundle. 50. That's insane to me. $50 for that whole bundle. You got everything. You got Recabinet. You got all the IRs from Recabinet. You got all the amps from Thermionik collection and all the pedals. Pure madness for me. We also have a Framus. Is this the Framus Cobra? If I'm not mistaken. This one was free for a little bit. And then we have the SLO 100 Soldano. Edson Santana. Man, I can't disagree with you. Amp Locker is really good. And this plugin is not something you can go buy. However, I can't tell you that you can't email the company and potentially ask why can't this come back, or is there any way I can purchase a legacy product of any kind? Because I've had people ask me, like, what is this? I've never even heard of this, because they got into amp sims about 2 years or 3 years after this was discontinued. So why would they have heard of it? If it's only people that have been doing this for a decade plus that remember this stuff, and anybody that's been doing it that long, this will guaranteed have been a purchase for someone at some point. I don't think I know many people that have been using amp sims for a decade plus that didn't buy the Kazrog collection. So I'm going to use my favorite IR. We're going to get the amp sims rolling. If there's something you want me to, Sandra, what's going on, dude? And Bo, what about the differences between the silver face and the blue face VH4, diesel VH4? Any ideas? Because we were talking about that in the product chat, if you will. We were talking about that when we made that move. You know what I mean? And I was curious because apparently, is it just an amp forum, an amp collector nerd forum thing where like the blue face ones became that rare unicorn kind of gem? Did they just change it for aesthetics? Or was there something really, really fundamentally different about the amp? I know there was something that seemed to me like it was quite different, but I can't remember. It's not tube style, is it? Anyways, we're gonna get started just with a plain old 5150. Actually, let's get started with the Serpent. Let's go to the Serpent today. We're gonna go to lead, and I'm not trying to make any friends right off the hop with the warm and fuzzy tones. So, okay, perfect. Serpent, activate. All right, that's sounding pretty good out of the blocks. Man, I should not drink. I should just not have caffeinated coffee. I drink decaf because I like the flavor of coffee, and I have a little splash of regular coffee in there. But man, just I'm drinking this cookie dough coffee something or other, and I've got about half of it in me over the last I've been nursing this thing, and I've only drank about half of it, and I feel like I'm gonna bounce off a fucking wall. Good Lord. Anyways, let's keep going with the tones. This thing already sounds pretty sick, and they've got a back panel, as mentioned here. Back panel options. All right, this should be pretty decent. Let's try this VZ Tech pedal. A little bit too much on the treble there now. Now, you can tell me that this sounds like a 15-year-old tone. Nah, it's nonsense. You turn the saturation. This saturation setting here can be really, really cool. When you can use it as much or little of it as you'd like. And I would strongly advise that if you do have this collection, especially if you had it back in the day and maybe some of these controls were a little heavy for your computer, because I remember that to use all of the options, it started to get a little heavy on your machine. Whereas now, my computer has its feet up, it's smoking a cigarette, watching three things, while also tending to the stock market. It could not care less that this is happening right now. Even like back in the day, moving the quality from 5 to 6 and using like the presence and the depth and all the notches and everything else. And anybody that could do that, you're like king of the castle, king of the castle. Dino Quadra plug? Wait. Dino Quadra? What's Dino Quadra plugins? I don't know what that is. Let's go back. Dino Quadra. Okay, I get it now. The DB Quadro stuff. That is going to be next weekend. I think I'm going to download. I think if I have some extra money and I have some of these vouchers, I think I'm actually just going to buy a bunch of their plugins and just show some support and just start featuring their plugins. You know what I mean? I don't know. I've emailed DB Quadro a few times and said, hey, I'd love to I'd love to help out. Like, I'd love to just, is there anything I can do to help out and maybe put these in some creators' hands and get some content flowing and get some people through the door, you know, that don't just happen to be there. You know, especially when you start seeing more creators using this stuff, you start getting some more trust in the brand. So I just think that I would love to start doing some content, just doing content with the stuff. The ecstasy is sick. All right, that's a little bit aggressive on the presence. This is this is the tones we're getting here are already pretty fantastic in my opinion. There we go, that's better. My playing is, don't worry, we'll get that up to snuff. The warmth in the low end is just, you know what I mean? Like, man. And I know that originally there was a video, I don't know if it's still up, but there was a video where Shane spoke about potentially putting, what he wanted to do is, he said something about putting all of the Thermionik amps and pedals and recabinet into like a suite style plugin. Holy shit, that's a great idea that I would get behind. And it doesn't mean he can't do Ampcraft. That's the thing. This does not compete with Ampcraft at all, in my opinion. This is a different product entirely. Ampcraft is like taking the amps from Thermionik and giving them, you know, that really good treatment. So whether he does or doesn't, plus the second amp he did with Thermionik, or sorry, with the Ampcraft series, wasn't even in Thermionik at all. So my opinion, and again, this is just my opinion. I don't work for the company, and I don't talk to the company. I don't really think anybody on the team talks to Shane that often, but gosh, would we get behind, holy shit, would we get behind putting all these in a very simplistic suite that's got your amp, it's got your cabinet and your pedal section, very simplistic. Boy, oh boy, would we get behind that. Putting all of this in just like a nice, affordable suite. It would break the fucking internet. How many people would download it, or rather purchase it? It would soar. In my opinion, it would be a highly valuable plugin for people to have. And then when he does the Ampcraft products, that's a different thing entirely. That is just a different thing entirely. Those are meant clearly an upscale to these. You know what I mean? They are not meant to replace each other. That's just, if you like this amp and you like my take on this amp, you're gonna love this. You know, that kind of thing. That's the way I would look at it all day. That's just me though. As I'm getting a little harsh there. No. Let's turn on. It sounds good. Let's try a couple things to see what we're at here. That's so twangy. I don't know if I need anything quite that twangy. A lot of mids going on right now. Lots of mids. What's going on, everybody? Make sure you guys are all having a wonderful Saturday. MDC or MPC. Why do I keep saying MDC? We got a new viewer here. Not a new, but like a new person that wants to be part of the chat. That's great. And if you're out there and you want to chit chat with us, man, that's terrific. If there's something from this collection, I'm telling you right now, if there's anything from this collection that I have loaded up that you want to hear, and there's a certain IR that you'd like to hear it with, or even a certain pedal that you know that I have installed, let's do it. I would love to impress you guys with this to where we can get people actually messaging Kazrog and saying, man, I saw you guys, I saw this plugin, this plugin collection on this channel. You don't even have to mention our channel. That's fine. You can, or you don't have to. And just say, I saw this, man. This stuff is sick. Is there any way I can get my hands on this? And the more requests a developer gets like this, and I am going to finally send an email and say, man, you should really consider doing this thing that you were going to do before with just a small multi or mega suite where you're going to have 25 plus amps. You're going to have like 10 pedals minus the bass pedal you're not going to need. You can even have a bass pedal and a bass amp in there because that could be possible. And then just put it out as it is with maybe, he's obviously since then developed some new ways. He's got how many compressors? He's got true iron. By the way, if you want to make anything sound better than it currently does, just use Kazrog True Iron. I cannot explain exactly what it does. Somebody with lots of smarties can do that. All I can say is it make amp sim sound good. It's fantastic. And if you've never seen True Iron or heard True Iron before, let's throw it in. It just doesn't seem to matter where I throw it into the chain. But we are going to put it after the cab. And we're going to go with rock guitar thick. And I'm going to go with and without. So here is without. And with. Turn it off. I use it on drum software a lot too, to add warmth and punch. You guys just check out True Iron. If you do your own recording, if you're just an amp sim user that uses like standalones and stuff, nothing we say today is going to be handy for you. However, that being said, if Kazrog was to do this theorized suite that we are talking about here, man, if he was to do that, holy cow, that would be really, really sick. And he could make standalones is what I'm trying to say. So if you're out there and you're like, I'm a standalone user, I don't know what I could do about that. If he was to do this little suite, he could be available very easily like everybody else is doing right now. I just did a standalone mode. And suddenly all these are available to a new generation that would never build a signal chain. A generation of users that would never build a signal chain from scratch. And it eliminates that feeling of, man, these are obsolete. They don't compete anymore, because it's not true. In my opinion, the tone that I'm using right now absolutely obliterates the quality of the tones that I'm using right now. Rather, it obliterates everything from a couple of developers that shall remain nameless. Certainly everything from like a Positive Grid. You know what I mean? This would absolutely smash so many different plugins if it came out, even at say like a $99.99, and all of these came out together with the pedals and the amps. And also Kazrog has wonderful IRs. Shane is very gifted when it comes to putting out shooting IRs as well. The recabinet was those were some of the best sounding IRs in the business originally. And when you buy a Kazrog plugin, as far as I understand, it gives you that recabinet that library that you can use with other plugins. And many people for a long time were using that recabinet library with so many different plugins. a lot of people would swear by adding the recabinet stuff in behind amplitude and everything else, because they would say it made things sound warmer and bigger and more full. So, Edson, what's going on? Man, you're gonna love that Marshall 800. Works so well with the auto audio sludge weave. Man, you are just good lord, man. Xander Bananas is allergic to using a plugin as she be. I'm just kidding, buddy. It's like he is literally more of a Frankenstein with signal chains than I ever was. And I used to pride myself on Franken chains, but man, this guy's just, dude takes it to a new level. He keeps it old school, use things component wise, and that is what we need, is more people that are not afraid to think and use things outside of the box in their suites. There's a lot of ways that it's possible, and we can teach you how to do that. Yeah, man, I'm interested in the Discord. I'm interested, and I think that I'm also interested in to start our Instagram. By the way, I know somebody had liked our Instagram, and he messaged me, and he's like, "I'm just making sure I'm in the same place." I was like, because he said it was just like the content. I'm not on it. I'm not in any of it. He's like, I said, "Yeah, this is just a different vibe." Nothing irritates me more. Nothing irritates me more than when creators have 4 platforms and all those platforms is to advertise for one platform, and every single platform, if you follow them on all platforms, you just go there and see the same content, the same video. So it's either they're putting the same stuff on all platforms, or it's smart though. It is smart to use multiple platforms to boost one, or to use them all to boost each other. It's fine. But the way I like to do things a little bit different. I like to give people a completely different vibe on our other platforms. And so Discord will be more about, interacting with the community when we're not here on live streams and building that community. While also, just trying to maintaining a good connection is a nice thing, right? Yeah, that's true. Nowadays, like it used to be that a lot of developers, the weakest part of their plugin would be the IR section, because now we'll do it ourselves. We're gonna do it ourselves, and we're gonna pump out our own cab sections. And if you don't do that well, if you're not good at shooting IRs, I'll tell you what happens. Your plugin sucks. It doesn't matter how good your pedal modeling, your programming, and your coding and everything is between the pedals and the amp. None of that shit matters anymore, because you just put an amateur level cab sim or IRs, or a cab sim loaded with amateur IRs in there. And now that's voicing. Now think about that. If I'm going to think of it in a different terminology, I'm using an analogy here. I like analogies. Think about that like a song written by one of the world's greatest songwriters, right? And then it's also the best instruments are in play, and the hired studio guns are there to record the song. Everyone has done that. It's all done. Those hired studio guns are there, and then all of a sudden, for some strange, non-apparent reason, they get a really bad singer, and they go to a studio with a brand new amateur producer that doesn't know how to do shit. That is exactly the equivalent of putting a bad cab section into your plugin. And there were a lot of bad cab sections back in the day. It was almost assumed that when you bought a plugin, you were bypassing the cab in favor of either Own Hammer, Red Wires, or something else of that ilk. Or if you were talking free, it was probably something like C-Cow, or is going to be Wilkinson Audio. Or as mentioned, Recabinet was often a very popular. It was very, very popular. So we're going to use, Bo, I didn't hear back from you on, do we know, or even Xander, can somebody look up, or anyone, Pedro, can somebody look up the differences between the diesel? I'm not sure. I didn't see it answered. Maybe I did. If somebody could look up the differences between the blue and silver face VH4s, I'd love to know. We're going to listen to them. I'm going to use the same settings, and we're going to just listen to them. Let's go and figure that out. We're going to use lead 1, which is our channel 3. And I'm going to use my settings that I would use on a VH4 typically. The mids are going to depend on pickups with me, but... And these are typically the settings I'm going to use on said amp. Okay. Now, I am going to go, make sure that's on. Quality is up. Input is up a pinch. Okay, now we're going to go and do the exact same thing to the next one. And we're just going to listen and just see if I can hear anything. I'm not sure if I've done this in the past. I must have at some point, but I'm just going to leave the mids at 5 for now. 4. Boom. And okay, so here is the blue. Okay, so that was too much. I'm gonna bring back the output a bit. That is very bright, so I don't need the bright. That's a little bit ice picky there. We can fix that. Bring our presence back a little bit. I'm going to set this normal. I don't need the bright for sure. Oh my God, I did it. I did it again. I went to the wrong one. I was looking at fueled and I was like, why is this not changing? All right, that's fine. That's better. Wow. Eventually, we knew it was going to happen. Do I have any pedals on right now? I do. Man, I got that crank, that sneaky crank. Okay, so that would have been the reason for the tinniness and why we had that on earlier. Oh, it sounds way better, that VZ Tech pedal. Oh, yeah. This is supposed to be obsolete tech? Are we kidding right now? This is not obsolete. This what I'm using right now is old, sure, yeah, fine. But the tone, the quality of the tone we're getting right now just absolutely destroys so many plugins. The feel that you get out of these plugins and the whole vibe of these plugins absolutely destroys everything else. Not everything else, but everything made by, let's say, a handful of developers that I just don't think are releasing anything that great. But that being said, this definitely fits in. If you were to do a blind tone test with this stuff and told people what you're using right now is a 15-year-old plugin, people would look at you and be like, you're full of shit. That's impossible. I'm using the Thermionik fueled blue, the blue face, and I'm going to make sure that we're going to go back and forth here. And I'm going to make sure that I mimic the changes I made here. Now let's go over there and see what we have. Wait a minute, that one sounds... Oh yeah, we have the presence is... Oh yeah, presence is up here about 6. The other one's definitely brighter. Fueled silver and fueled blue, so way brighter. Looking to make sure. Make sure that's bumped up. Why is that one so much louder as well? I hadn't cut the volume on this one. I noticed the one is just a snitch bit brighter. It sounds so good. I don't understand why we're not using this. Why are we not using this all the time? I can use a bit more brightness now. So let's turn on that bright. That pedal fucked us over earlier. I gotta give the we gotta give the serpent another shot now because I completely forgot we had it on and I was down like this and didn't even notice it. Stupida, stupida. It is stupida. Holy cow. Thanks, Ton. This does sound pretty rad. Holy crap. Like, it definitely doesn't feel like I'm using an old plugin right now. You know what I mean? It does not feel that way. I'm going to make sure we got pretty much exact settings here. Holy fuck. I just learned that on the spot. I don't think I've ever played any parts of that song except for the dun 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 dun. It's musician speak. We've all got our own fucking lingity, guys. In fact, if you ever do musician speak to another musician and they look at you like you've got a hole in your head, immediately walk away. It's a narc. They're your FBI agent. They are a false. It's an alien from some other universe trying to scout you out. They are not legit. You do not want that person. If you're talking, some of my best conversations with my bandmates were, you know, with our instruments down, and you're rehearsing and everyone's standing there with their instruments and you're all trying to go over a nice song idea and they're like, wait, for that other part and you're doing the bad, and the other guy's like, yeah, well, you're doing that. I've got to be doing the and then the drummer's like, well, for this part, do you want me to hit the toms? Do you want me to do the other part that's like bat, 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 spat? And these are great conversations to have. And if you have any conversation like that in your lifetime, and the person is like, walk away. Walk away. It's a sting. They're wired. It's a narc. It's an alien. Yeah, absolutely. Better? Guys, by the way, don't be afraid to ask me to turn it up, okay? I know that sometimes I watch streams back and I'm like, shit, the guitar's really low there. This is supposed to be 15-year-old tech? I'm not doing anything to gussy this up, folks. This is a free overdrive. a 15-year-old plugin and an IR, just a random IR that's probably still about a decade years old. A decade years old. Wow. That's how I talk. Decade years old. You know what I mean? Fuck you. Oh. All right. All right. I'm slumping. I'm slouching. Let's do it. All right, let's see what we got here. The blue face and silver face distinction for the diesel VH4 primarily refers to the different production eras, and a slight circuit variations, not a visual difference in face plates. Older blue face spec. Cool. So you know that it's older, blue face spec, rare. Those are all we need to know about why amp nerds are always like, I was constantly, especially on like rig talk and shit, you'd see constantly people oh man, if you ever used the blue face, well, if you haven't used the blue face, then you haven't used the real VH4, then I guess. There are so many obnoxious dudes that throw their money around on forums back in the day. I know it happens more on social media now, but I just try to distance myself from that. But you see there's like, man, like I've never seen back in the day, anybody could attest, there were forums and there were certain members of those forums that would throw their money around just for forum clout. And I could name a couple because I know they went on to, I don't know. I saw this a long time ago and I got barred from a couple forums for calling them out, being like, dude, like, do you ever do anything except for spend money, like, and take pictures of guitars? You ever gonna want to take a picture of you playing one? And bam, he's a mod. I got banned just for asking the question. Anyways, we're off topic. Freeware, boy oh boy, man. Edson next. Okay, that's it. This is all we needed, guys. Edson, what is your preferred style of playing? We are gonna tailor make a stream on Friday for you. We're going to tailor make Freeware Friday just for Edson. We're going to get it. We're going to get it done. It's going to be awesome. Edson is going to get a lot of good recommendations. But Edson, what is your preferred style? What are your preferred styles of playing, genres? Who are some of your favorite guitar players? What are some of your favorite amps out in the analog world? Your favorite pedals in the analog world? We need to know a little bit more because I like to tailor make everyone's amp sim experience to them. If you're a jazz guy or a blues guy, it's not going to do you diddly shit for help if I take you through the world's best gent and high gain, modern high gain amp sims. That's going to do you no good whatsoever. And you're going to be like, this is great for somebody, I'm sure. But I mean, you can only imagine sitting at like a primarily just and only a distinguished jazz player next to the high gain channel of like a Purple Nightmare. And the look on their face that would be like, Jesus, what is that? What is that? What is this? I don't want that. So you got to tell us. The Evolution, hold on. DB Quattro just released a free Marshall JCM 800, completely free, definitely free. And there's an audio already that's a solid state free Marshall and then some. It's not just the Marshalls. The Marshall's only the first channel. The clean and the metal channels are something completely different entirely that are just packaged inside the same packaging. But those came along later for V2. In my opinion, I actually told Luca what he should do is put a slot at the top, because one of the coolest things I ever used that particular amp sim for, the L12X from Audiority, one of the coolest things I ever used that for was testing NAM pedals. So you throw not NAM Universal, but just NAM, just a regular instance of NAM out front of the L12X, and you just pump it full of pedals. And it just talks along with that so well. It just, everything gets along just so perfectly. And I suggested to Luca for an update for that, you should sneak a little instance of NAM up top so people could just feed the, the profiles into it. And that would be cool if it was all built in. But that's not something a lot of developers, how do I say this apart from just saying it? I'm not saying this is Audiority's way or any other developer necessarily by name. So don't think that I'm talking about Luca directly here. But there are a lot of developers out there that frankly want absolutely nothing to do with you working with the NAM architecture, the code, or having the NAM code anywhere near their plugins. And that's okay. You know what I mean? That's just A-okay if there are developers out there that just choose to not be involved with this and just don't care and just be like, I'm gonna hang back. I don't really like, I don't need that. So thank you. This looks interesting. Y'all have fun now, but I'm just gonna go my own way. Why is the developer a Southern man? I have no idea. DB Quattro is not fairly new. DB Quattro has been around for a long time, actually. They've been around for like 5+ years. They've been around for a while now. They have lots and lots of products. I'm gonna have to finally just get on board. I have emailed the company a few different times saying, man, they are also, as far as I understand, they're based in Italy. And what I would like to do is a big showcase of every developer based in Italy. And that's what we're going to be doing inside the next couple of months. At some point, we're going to do a whole bunch of streams. Maybe do a whole weekend of mega streams that are just dedicated to Made in Italy, series of events. That would be fun because there are more companies based in Italy than you might think. We can name them all if you'd like, but this is not one that was based in Italy. Kazrog is a company, if I'm not mistaken, based in the United States, and a company that has not necessarily gotten away from amp sims, but they started with amp sims and moved on to lots of outboard studio stuff, the modeling of, rather, not creating their own necessarily, but the modeling of some really, really popular studio components like compressors. Of course, there's True Iron. But some signature stuff with some pretty big companies as far as compressors and things like that go. I would again strongly advise if you take your mixes seriously, head over to Kazrog and check out everything. And this is not a paid spot or a paid stream by any means. Frankly, I bet us constantly mentioning. Hold on, let me get the vocals down here a little bit. Constantly mentioning Thermionik or sending emails his way is probably not going to be a super fun thing for him to have to like deal with. Even if there's once in a while, though, I think that'd be fine. But I mean, it'd be great to find. We're going to reach out to him. I'm going to reach out to him and just, I don't care if he gets back to me or not. It'd be nice if he did though. And just say, hey, what about this? We'll get behind it. Maybe we could even supply some graphics. We'll do all the beta testing for you. We'll work it out. We'll figure it. What do we have to do to make this happen? Again, it can be a way to sell, and it works as it really does work as a nice. It works as a nice bridge to bridge the gap between users and Ampcraft. If users don't necessarily want to go all the way to Ampcraft, they can buy this other, theorized plugin of all these Thermionik plugins. And then if they want to get real serious, they go up. I really like what he did with the block letter in this plugin. I'm going to go and buy the real deal. I like that way of thinking about things. And I really feel that would be a fun thing to suggest. So let's see what we can get. Let's see if we can make something happen at what's the worst that can happen. Either you don't get an email or somebody says no. Who cares? Who cares? You know what I mean? Always shoot your shot, guys. Always shoot your shot. As long as you're shooting your shot responsibly and safely, and you know, you're not bending the law in any way. How is this 15 years old? How, in what universe? Yeah, it sounds terrific. It sounds terrific. Edson, did Edson? Edson, you gotta let us know. What are your selected genres, my friend? We will find you some rad stuff for free. You just gotta let us know where you're trying to get for tone. We're gonna name some generally amazing free options, like the Crunk from Membrini Audio, like the mentioned STL Emissary. There's a lot of different, like the Audio L12X is already mentioned. There's a lot of really good free stuff out there. There's also, if I'm not, you know, I would be irresponsible if I told you that it was all good though. There is definitely a few real shit burgers out there to eat, and they're free. That being said, it's a lot like taking a free sample at the mall or at a grocery store, where you take the free sample and say, I don't like what I just put into my mouth, so I'm not going to purchase any more of it because not for me. And it's just like that with installing a plugin. However, I will caution you once very heavily for a new user. For a brand new user, there are ways. How can I say this? So, just don't pirate anything. Okay, don't pirate anything. Do not pirate anything, no matter how easy or inviting it might seem. Do not pirate anything. Why? The main reasons why you don't want to pirate anything, and it can seem tempting as a newer user sometimes. When if you're not thinking about it, if you're not inexperienced, you're thinking, you know, I used to download MP3s all the time. I remember I had a cracked version of Photoshop back in college. This is gonna be fine. Just fucking don't do it. It's like feeding your computer. There's always malware attached to this stuff. Okay, always malware. I know some people that have had catastrophic failures of their machines because of this stuff, and they've lost everything. No plugin out there is worth that. No, there is no plugin. None. Zero. Not one single plugin out there is worth putting that garbage onto a computer that doesn't have. There's already enough ways that you can get viruses for your computer. Just don't do it. That is something from us to every user out there. If you're on a budget, I don't care. Some people, I've heard plenty of excuses used, and I'm not going to say I've never pirated a plugin. I've absolutely pirated plugins in the past. Only in the situation where I wanted to do a review of something and it was no longer available for, and I just wanted to know. And I'll just be straight up. I don't even care. I once upon a time used what I thought, I didn't know at the time. I just didn't know any better. And somebody sent me something, and it turned out to be a pirated version of a couple of different pedals. It was like the BBE Sonic Maximizer and those old pedals. Those once existed. And I had no idea at the time. It was just like, I thought it was freeware. I had no idea at the time. I installed it. It did phenomenal damage to my computer, and I never, ever looked back. So just don't do it. It's not a smart idea, and we'll move on from there. Yes, you definitely. Well, there are ways. I've heard that they have found ways around stuff like that, and just don't. Just don't do it. There's so many ways. There's so many ways. There's no plugin that's worth that. And you got to think about it for a second. Think of the plugin that you're trying to get your hands on. This is always works when people think about it this way. Think about the plugins that think about the plugins that you're after. What's the price of that plugin on sale? You know what I mean? What is the often, if you've ever seen it on sale, what is the sale price? What do you think the average sale price of that plugin is going to be? Something that's $129.99 will often go on sale for as low as $39.99 and sometimes even $19.99. Okay, so say you're looking at a plugin that's $139 and you're like, I can't afford that. I'm on a budget, man. I just can't afford. I'll never be able to afford $139 for a plugin. You will be able to afford it on sale, though, if you wait and you snipe those sale prices. Because what's going to happen is, you know what? I'm never going to be able to afford it. Think about that for a second. Sale price, $30, $20 max. Usually sale prices, even half off, $60. Okay? Even think of the full price for a second at $129.99. Now think about what all of your data and everything is on your computer is worth to you. Okay? Now, is giving your computer like hard-boiled, do not pass go digital aids? Yes, that's what's going to happen. Don't do that. Don't do that to your computer. Don't put all your stuff at risk. Don't put your machine at risk just so you can get a couple minutes of wee, and so just don't do it. Okay? Dude, Tyler, I did the same thing with BBE pedals. Your machine actually made it out of it. Fantastic. And you know what, though? It's like some people might think this is like one of those, like, it's a taboo conversation. You shouldn't have this conversation. You shouldn't talk about the P word. No, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it fully, and I'll help you learn from my mistakes. Okay, I will help you learn from my mistakes, is what I would usually try to do with everyone. It's like, don't do the thing that I did. I know somebody that had a whole machine full of pirated stuff from various places and never had one single issue with his machine. He's the only person I know that happened to. And the amount of things you have to go through, though, there's no way that there wasn't secretly malware on the computer. It doesn't matter how hard you work or how hard you try. Just don't. At the end of the day, do not do it. Well, that's where we're going to leave it. Yeah, there are so many free alternatives too. Not only are there sale prices, but there are freeware alternatives to so many things right now. And I know that there's, again, so Edson, we want to let you know that there's this weird myth in a certain demographic of the AmpSim users. There's a certain demographic of AmpSim users that think that freeware means it's garbage. Freeware means it's trash. Who would make something for free? Why would I want something for free? That just sounds like it's this one's $140. That one's free. Why would I want this? It makes no sense to some people until they find out the reasons why freeware exists, which is growing your brand, which is also putting yourself out there for potential contract work, and you'd be surprised. The things that we know here at the AmpSim universe would make your head spin as far as who makes what for who out there. So you'd be very surprised to know that some of your favorite developers are also secretly making plugins for maybe some of your other developers, your other favorite developers as well. It'd be nice if we all just knew about that kind of stuff so it could build trust. I like this stuff. They're making stuff for this company too. I would just buy this without question. But that doesn't happen. Sometimes, most of the time, what happens in that situation is you never hear about it. And you won't hear about it from us unless it's something that's kind of out there. But nonetheless, it does happen. All right. So, and you know, what happens is, a lot of putting freeware out there lets people know this person potentially could be open for business for contract work, and holy shit, their stuff is really good, or gosh, I would not want them to build anything for me. Blick. All right, next amp, we are a ways in, and we are gonna go to let's go to the Soldano. Why not? We didn't use this last time. And I know, is Andy still with us here? Edson, did we hear from Edson yet? Or did I excuse me. Did I put too much pressure on the poor guy? I don't know if I put too much pressure on the guy by saying we were gonna schedule a whole stream for him, but that's we've done it before for users before, and without question, we've had people say, I'm really trying hard to get this tone on a budget or free. And you will see that every single staffer that is in the chat, if you could see us, if you see all of them start typing, like everyone in here will answer you. Everyone. So that is something, if you want to make part of this stream about finding you that great tone, no problem. The second half, we can take a little break from Thermionik and try to find you a great tone for next to nothing. Yeah, the emissary, there's nothing wrong with it. Andy's still here. Good, because I want to know if there's anybody on our team that knows about the SLL 100. It's Andy, and we want to know what Andy thinks. So I'm going to set this up like I might set up that particular amp. And okay, we've got clean, crunch, and we've got lead. Bright. I don't think I'm going to need the bright, but let's see what we got. Whoa, that's super loud. Everybody watch your ears. Okay. That is super loud. That's going to bring that back here. That is not sounding particularly... I'm not using a Soldano cabinet, this is true, but usually those mid qualities would be poking through right about now, so I don't know if this one... I don't really recall using this one that many times back in the day. It took me a little time to find my obsession with the SLO 100 though. It's quite muddy. No. This would have mids that would melt the sun by now. This would be super bright by now. So this one maybe didn't make the trek as well as some of the other ones, but I know that many of these did. Many of them. Which one is, I know Bo's favorite. I can already tell you which one that is. And we have the Thermionik Marshland Jumpy 79J, aka a Jose modded. Bo, you want to shout out some settings here too, if you'd like. But I'm going to set it up like I would normally set up Marshall. We got 3 channels. You have normal, high, and jump. We could go with high or jump. They don't give you the access to like the actual modifications though, which one could say like arg, you know. But I'm assuming that what this means by the Thermionik Marshland Jumpy 79J, I'm assuming that what the Jose and the Soldano modded versions of the amp that they've included here simply have the modifications that these two guys are most known for that are on or in their ideal position. Bo, would you have, I mean, we could ask Shane, but Bo, what do you think about that? Do you think that that's something that they probably did here, is just put the mod, installed the mods that these two guys are most known for and just hardwire them in the on position? Thoughts? Again, something I would love to ask Shane. Why am I struggling to stay in tune today? All right. Fuck. No pedal. Let's throw the overdrive in front. No, turn that back on, please. Base 4, mid, noon, treble. You got? I got you. Sorry, listening to We Got the Moves, pretending like I got the moves. Fucking know I've got the moves. Both gains at 6, Bo? Gain 1 and gain 2 and gain 2? 4 mids at noon. Treble 7. I was already on the treble. I think treble on 7 on a Marshall just sort of makes sense, doesn't it? I think we're in agreement here. Wow. This is old. This is 15-year-old tech, guys. Depending on which one's the bright channel. We'd also have to put it on jump, right? I might just, I'm struggling. Stay in the tone. Why? Why you gotta do that, bro? Why you gotta do that, bro? Da, 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 da. My God. Can you just stay in tune? I got this cold, cool breeze blowing through the window. And it was like 30 degrees here yesterday, Celsius, and it's about 19 today. So my instruments are all, we've got fresh air flowing through the house, and the instruments are like, what the fuck? What the hell's going on? He is not happy with me right now. This is very, very strong tones, guys. Jeez Louise. Turn on the True Iron, give it some more balls and beef. Why you gotta be like that? Man. Did I lose the chat or did we just like... It's boring today. Wow, the chat like left. It's gone. It just obliterated. It vanished. Probably static in place. Mainly because he has... That's fair. I don't think that the SLO from here though is super solid. I'm not gonna. It's not one of my favorites. And we're gonna continue. We're gonna going through this stuff. I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are as well. It's been a good time so far today. We got up today. It was incredibly windy, so instead of our usual disc golf destination, we decided today to go to a little small sort of like almost pitch and putty type course, but not quite. And we went ace hunting, and we didn't get it. There was none. Almost. A lot of almosts today, but no, we didn't get it. Too much wind. So, yeah, we definitely won't be around tomorrow. Again, sorry I was not here on Friday, guys. I really do apologize for that, but there was nothing. This place that I live in, if you're anybody that lives on in a second or higher floor apartment, let's say you live in like a 2-floor building, an older building, top floor, the heat's finding its way here. You know what I mean? And to keep this place cool, we need fans going. And if I do it, I've listened back and you can hear the fans no matter how I set the gate and everything else. You can just hear them. And it's not comfortable to sit behind the lights as well. So I just definitely don't want to put you guys through a stream where I'm sitting here just bitching and complaining about how hot it is, because we've all seen that before. It's not a lot of fun. I just found it was missing that chime, those chimey mids. You know what I mean? It's unmistakable. You can put any guitar you want with any pickups that you want, as long as the tone knob as long as the tone knob is up, and you will get those chimey that nice chimey mid-range quality of the SLO, and the mid-range quality that is such that if you get the presence up just a little too much, or if you get the treble up even a little too much in conjunction with too many mids, it can get really ice picky really quick, because there's a lot of headroom in those mids. And that's what I like about the Soldano SLO 100 is finding that edge between really, really nice and chimey mids and completely unlistenable ice picky. Finding that edge of where it gets ice picky is where I want to live with an SLO. You know what I mean? And that sometimes you can find those mid qualities that even like 4 or 5, you start to get to where it starts to get a little ice picky depending on the guitar you're using. So it's a lot of fun. So yeah, maybe someday, and it's gonna have to happen soon, we're gonna do an SLO roundup. I have to make sure I buy and go out and purchase the Neural version. That's the one I'm waiting to get my hands on, is the Neural DSP version. So once I get that, we'll do one of them streams. Guys, I'm going to take a quick 2 or 3 minute break. Let me see where we are for time. Wow, we're already an hour and a half. We've been just crushing it today. So we've got a lot of amps to go. Thank you for being here with me. We're going to keep going for a little while yet. And if you guys are cool, just chilling and hanging out, that's awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And thank you, by the way. Hit like and subscribe. And my challenge for you guys is to go and download this VZ Tech Overdrive. It's free. It is not full of malware. You do not have to get on an email list. Nothing. You don't have to do anything. You just click the download button and you're done. Strongly advise you guys check this out, because thanks to Ton Guitarra, we know it exists and we know it's awesome. Thanks for staying on top of me on that one, Ton. Really appreciate you, because I'm glad he stayed on top of me, because I like the Yellow Overdrive. And this is a good take on the original Boss Yellow Overdrive. I know it's not necessarily based on that. I think it's based on their own version, like their own hardware pedal. I think it's based on, maybe. I'd have to look more into it. But to me, it sounds like a modified Boss Yellow Overdrive. And there are a few of them, and they all hold sort of this this nice mid quality, this nice quality that I've always really liked, but I'm just starting to fall back in love with using it instead and in place of a tube screamer. Okay, you don't always have to be hardwired to that green tube screamer sound. And in the second half here, we're going to show you guys a few different ways that you can. I'm just going to make sure that we do this before I go so I don't forget. Ears, guys. Ears, just in case. Ears. Okay, we didn't get a good screech or anything. Solid. We're going to show you guys the power of this guy right here, which is based on the Boss. Sorry, oh my God. I looked at the Boss, and every time I do that, I do it. It was such a strange name for the pedal, even though Govna is kind of a Boss. This is based on the Marshall Govna, which is sort of designed to be a stack in a box, but it's when used as sort of like your traditional boosty type settings, it does something different. And maybe Bo can explain the fundamental differences between a tube screamer and a Govna. But for now, we're just going to take a quick break, come back, and show you guys a few different ways that you guys can boost your amp while can I say any words? Can I say any words today? Testing, not chesting. We're going to be testing a few different amp sims today, all old school from the Thermionik collection. If there's anything that you guys really want to see, throw it at me and it'll go in. All right, guys, 2-3 minutes. Thanks for being here. Yes. Yes. Actually, I will explain that. Xander, Ryan Finley from... Get off me. Excuse me. Ryan Finley from Revolt DSP asked me to hold up. He asked me to hold up on using his stuff. How can you tell what I would want to do? He told me to hold up on promoting his stuff in streams until he's got 2.0 ready. And I don't know when that was, some time ago now. I don't know. I'm not really 100% sure what the story is. I haven't used any of the Revolt stuff, although I did reach out to him and he really likes our channel and asked if I would just hold up on promoting their stuff. And I said, yes, I will absolutely do that. That is a wonderful request. I wish more developers had the same way of thinking about things. All right. So I've come back with a different beverage because the coffee was making me nuts. I've got the blue raspberry limeade vitamin water. And this stuff is, if you're a fan of the vitamin waters, this stuff is unbelievable. It's wonderful. All right. So in the second bunch here, we're going to show you guys how we're going to use, not a Marshall. We are going to use, we're going to grab a 5150 here. And I'm going to use the Marshall Govna as a boost instead of your traditional boost. Now I'm going to use the gain on just a little teeny bit. I'm going to use the level probably roughly in the 130 to 3 o'clock range, depending on your taste. I'm not one of those level on 10 folks. I think it really depends on which amp you're smashing the boost into. The whole like, I call them the OLA settings where it's like 0, 10, 10. I don't think those work for every amp, every guitar, every set of pickups. I just don't. So anyways, chesting them. We're also chesting them. I remember you telling me that Boost is definitely the best screamer I've used. I've also heard that there's a lot of good screamers out there, guys. There's tons. There are tons and tons and tons of good screamers out there. In my opinion, the best one and always my favorite is good, for now at least, not always, but since it's come out, this is one of my favorite boosts in real life, and definitely one of my favorite boost pedals because I think Wavemind knocked this out of the fucking park. All right, so we're gonna go over here. I'm gonna give this here 5150. I'm gonna give it my personal settings, my 7s, 6s, and 7s, which I know it does actually play well with 6s and 7s. Okay. I'm going to mess with the bright switch if I need it. Back this up. And we're good. Switch that up. Okay. Let's see where we're at. That's sounding nice and raw, like it should. That's one thing that's like, it's very, that's a myth as well. And this is why I think it's, it's really important that we nurture the relationship between analog and digital, because there are a lot of users out there right now that have never used a 5150 in its analog form, never even seen one maybe in its analog form, but that's what they use in their quad cortex when they go perform. The 5150s. My buddy told me the 5150 is the way to go. So being able to say something sounds like a good 5150 or a bad 5150, I hope people at very least when they get these modelers or plugins, if you learn, you don't have to go down to your, Guitar Center and try one with your own hands. Although if you can, that's great. If you can get hands on an amp to find out how the plugin really represents it in the plugin world, if it's accurate or realistic. I hear those words often: accurate, realistic, authentic. What does that mean? Have you actually used that amp in real life? If you haven't, why are you calling it authentic? So You don't have to do that though. You can go right up here in the search bar and just look up different clips of that amp. You want to look up all the clips of that amp that you can. Go way back. Go way, way, way back. And go look up like the 12-year-old clip of the random dude with the cell phone clip using the amp in his shed. Right up to the Ola clips or, you know, your big influencer, high quality clips. Go listen to the, you know, the lesser produced clips as well, because then you'll get more, maybe more of, you'll get used to the flavor the amp is bringing. Okay. So in this case, this actually does sound like a pretty nicely boosted, non-boosted rather, nice raw 5150. So we're going to add the governor. This is something that Carcass did for a couple of different albums. I'm not, there is a rumor that they did it for Heartwork, but I've also heard that they didn't do it for Heartwork. So I have no idea for sure. I was told that they did it for, was the one that followed Heartwork. The one that didn't do so well for them. God damn it. Why have I forgot this? Can someone tell me the Carcass album that came after Heartwork? Fuck. My brain. Now, I'm going to go to the pedal. And I do want things to maybe get them with that tone. So I'm going to get the treble up a bit. That's sounding pretty tasty, guys. You can't say that doesn't sound fairly tasty. Whoops. And we seem to have lost, we lost like half the chat. What's going on? Anyhow, guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are having a great day. Today, we're just going over some Thermionik stuff, maybe boosting it with some different pedals, having a good time with it. My personal opinion is that there are just a ton of free. You almost never have to pay for a Tube Screamer plugin. I mean, I know there are a lot of really good ones out there. The Scream from Cytomic is probably the most advanced Tube Screamer plugin. And as Xander, I'm actually kind of shocked that I haven't heard, wow, what happened to the stream? Oh my gosh, we have 4 people. We went from 11 or 12 or 13 to 4. Is there something I said? Oh, good Lord. Wake up and smell the carcass? No. It's not the one I'm thinking. What was the one that was not a huge commercial success? What was the one that God damn it, they did the Deep Purple cover on it. Son of a bitch. I think they did. Was there a Deep Purple cover? So yeah, these are perfectly useful right now. You can still use these, very much so. This one, I would say, this one is maybe lacking a tiny bit in the top end department, if I'm being straight up with you on this. Maybe just a pinch in the top end. Yeah, man, I've always been on the type of person. I don't usually care if there's 5 people or 50 people in here. I would prefer not more than 50 though. Like, I think that would get really awkward really quick. I don't know how those streamers do it. I don't know how those YouTubers do it. Not just streamers, but like YouTubers and anyone that does live streams. I don't know how they do it to like hundreds and thousands of people. Or hundreds of thousands of people even. Like, there are streams like that where people have literally like thousands of people trying to type in the chat, and it's all just like, it's coming through like you're like watching code in the Matrix, like scream down the screen, just like, how do you follow that? I watched Donut Operator. He's been doing the thing this past summer where he's streaming a lot in the morning. He's watching clips again and stuff like that. And man, I don't know how he's routinely commenting along with people without actually having to like goon out at the screen. Swan Song, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Gosh dang, god damn. So yeah, this amp could be missing a little bit on the top. Let's try the 5153. Man, if you haven't heard this band, yeah, I believe it's Diablo Swing Orchestra. What a strange band, guys. Super weird. Why do I have to turn that on? All right, let's see what we have here. It's sounding pretty tasty. Let's toss in this overdrive. You had to cheat and use Spotify? Diablo Swing Orchestra is not a super common band, but think about what it would sound like if Mr. Bungle had Yolandi from D'Anford. Imagine that for just a second, what that might sound like. And then the answer is, yeah, it sounds like that. That's sounding pretty mean. Let's get the top end up a little bit more. Nice. That's sounding pretty good to my ears. I don't know about you guys. Get that up a little bit. I get the gain up to 10 because we're on the blue channel. You guys would be surprised. Okay, or maybe you won't be. But you guys would be surprised when it comes to the EVH5153. How many artists out there that are known for using these amps are using the blue channel boosted instead of, like, a lot of people believe that there's a red channel happening somewhere in there. And yeah, there are definitely a lot of bands using the red channel too. I mean, I know Dying Fetus and just like you can probably name 50 bands off the top of your head that are using that. But what I'm saying here is that the blue channel is also being used more than I think most might believe. By their favorite artists. Dave Davidson, for example, is all blue channel. That dude is all blue channel. I'm pretty sure even for his leads, he's blue channel, but just adds there's some sort of he adds a boost or something to that effect. But Diablo Swing Orchestra is the band I was talking about when I said Mr. Bungle with instead of Mike Patton, you bring in Yolandi from D'Anford. Or maybe more like Dog Fashion Disco. Actually, maybe more like Dog Fashion Disco, which is still Mr. Bunglish, but more like a more straightforward Mr. Bungle almost. I don't know. You guys be the judge. Insert your favorite circus prog band here. And if you're out there saying circus prog is not a genre, oh, yes, it certainly is. Yes, it certainly is. And if you don't believe me, just go listen to a band called Mr. Bungle, or perhaps another one called Dog Fashion Disco, or the aforementioned Diablo Swing Orchestra. Speaking of Kyle, where is Kyle? Where's Kyle Hunter been? And how did our stream die? Like, our stream is literally just like our stream just went. Yowza. Man, we got four individuals here. Honestly, did I say something that offended somebody? I must have said something. I don't know what I said, but sometimes I say some shit. But usually I like to keep a lid on it. Then if we want to go up to that red channel, though... That still sounds pretty good, guys. Anyhow, guys, I'm only going to be here for about another 10 minutes. Let's see where we are in the grand scheme. Yeah, about another 10 minutes or so. We're going to be here just chilling out. I wasn't really sure how long I was intending on being here from the beginning, but since our numbers are dwindling today, we'll mail it in. Well, we'll mail it in about 10 minutes or so. I think we've proven at this point what we came here to prove, and that is the fact that a suite... Now, if I had access and I could just build my ideal little suite and just magically snap my fingers and it was all together, I would put all of the Thermionik, and like there are a few amps that I omitted today, as mentioned. They're more of a vintage kind of rock amps, and I just kind of left them out. There's Vox, there's an orange, Vox, an orange, a Supro, a Fender Champ, if I'm not mistaken. There's a bunch of things, and to take all these metal and rock amps and put them into just like a very compact sort of suite where you can see the amp, but it's not going too overboard. Find a fun UI, put the amps in, take the pedals, put them in, take his cab section that he's already got, put it in, put True Iron in there to warm everything up even, but like, just have it wired to the one preset that I had, or something that's helpful to thicken up guitar, and just have an on and off enhance button. You don't even have to call it True Iron. These are things that I think about. And I really do think that there are a lot of users out there that would just love it. And I think it would, instead of dissuading people from wanting to buy the Ampcraft stuff, I really honestly think that it would work as a vehicle to be able to sell the Ampcraft stuff. This is you're checking out the amp, and okay, next I'm going to do the Friedman. Okay, well, I really like what he did with the Friedman here. I'm going to go buy it. I'm definitely on board to buy the Friedman. Or say you go through all these and you're like, man, I hope he does the Amp X. Then you suddenly become invested in what that next amp for Ampcraft is, as opposed to being like, well, if it comes out, I'm not really all that interested. Wait a minute, you're telling me I could get a drastically upscaled version of this amp I already like? Sign me up. Where am I? You know what I mean? Sign me up. Let's go. So I really do think that this could, if it's for like a $99 price range, I think would be more than enough. I think it would truthfully work. And I wouldn't say that if I didn't. I seldom have I been wrong when it comes to like if something would work for a plugin. There's been a few times, so I will admit, I have definitely been defeated by a few ideas that I thought would play off really well, but did not. And so nobody's perfect in that case, but in this case, I think everybody in this chat can agree that this is a fun idea. This is a fun idea that I think even the staffers, I don't think I even need to ask the staffers if they would get behind something like this. So I'm just going to email Kazrog, email Shane and say, hey, I mean, what can we do here? You know, like, is this something you guys might be interested in? I'm not sure how much work would actually be involved. I mean, if a lot of this stuff's already coded, as it would seem. I know there'd be that temptation though, and I would be tempted too if I was Kazrog. There'd be that temptation of, well, since I have the hood open and I'm gonna do maybe I'll just change a little bit of that and this and this and this. You know, like there's gonna be that temptation to change things, and with it to a certain degree, as long as you're not overhauling all of it, you should still be able to offer it for a pretty good price, be it the $99.99 type price. I don't think anybody would really shake a stick at a suite of Thermionik stuff at $99.99, all built inside one convenient package. And I also think that brings it ahead to more of a modern audience. You get somebody, you get somebody that maybe wants to help give the amps a graphic overhaul and more of a, keep it small, but give people an actual amp to look at it to kind of further bring it forward. And I honestly think that it would work. I don't see why it wouldn't. Just reading through comments, guys. Yeah, man. I'm definitely gonna reach over and see if I truthfully love your stuff. I would love to see this happen because there's no feasible way. There's no feasible way that he does an amp craft for all of those amps. There's just no way. With the way that he's meticulous and chooses to develop, which is the proper way, and going slowly and modeling properly and trying really close to get that one-to-one replica. That is definitely something that that the company puts a lot of time into. So the idea that we're going to get, an amp craft level version of all of these amps, no. I don't think that, I don't know if that would ever happen. Plus, if you're Kazrog and people start using this theoretical Thermionik suite, as it may or may not be called, Kazrog Thermionik suite, people that use this, you're going to be able to kind of almost track by the amount of content that comes out, the comments you get on social media, the emails you get. You'll be able to figure out which of those amps are the most popular and which ones that you may or may not want to consider for that next amp craft. I think he's more of a do things that he wants to do kind of guy, and I like that as well. Super admirable. But if it comes down to it and you think, I'm not sure which one I'm going to do next after this one, and you see, well, hey, it looks like a lot of we're seeing a lot of content come out for the for, let's say, the ogre tuber. Absolutely. Well, then let's think about doing that one. Why wouldn't that you've already got, there's already demand for it. It's very clear. So for me, I think this becomes a vehicle to be able to promote future Ampcraft releases, and I think this would be super fun. And let's see what happens. I'm going to send an email. Like I said, folks, the worst you can get is a no, or your email just gets right down delete to Deleteville, and no one ever really reads it. And that is perfectly acceptable for a busy company to start reading your email, realize it's something they don't really care about, and just to go boop and delete it. That's perfectly acceptable. In a busy company, they don't have time to answer every email. It doesn't happen. So that being said, guys, I'm going to get going here. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm actually going to go tonight. I'm going to let you guys in on it. I know we talk gaming here once in a while, but for the longest time, let's start. I bought Kingdom Come Deliverance, the older one, for $6. And I already had the full, unbridled full edition, including DLC, for Red Dead Redemption. I'm coming off playing some very fast games, like Far Cry, and coming off playing some quicker games. So I decided, instead of going straight to Kingdom Come, I'm going to go to Red Dead Redemption, which I've only really put 5 or 6 hours into, and I got a little bored in the mountains, and it wasn't really I was looking for it years ago now. So I'm finally going back to it and giving it another go. And man, I'm hooked. So now I'm needing to figure it out. I need to figure out how to make money quickly in Red Dead Redemption. Also, it seems like anytime you do anything criminal whatsoever, there just happens to be a person in the middle of the forest to notice it. What is going on with that? You're like, is anybody around? Is anybody around? No, don't see anyone. Don't see anyone. Don't see anyone. Nope, no one's around at all. Hey, anybody around? No one around? Okay, I'm going to go mug this guy. As soon as you go mug that dude, there's like 6 people riding horses and carriages by. Oh no. Everyone's, and then all of a sudden it's like you've got the equivalent to 5 stars. Crazy. It's a fun game though. I know. I sound like the fucking boom. I sound like a super boomer right now. I'm just getting to that Red Dead Redemption. You know, the one the kids are playing? No, I just didn't get to it. For whatever reason, I had other games going on at the time that I wanted to play more, and it just sat. It sat. Got everything going now. Having a great time. So if you guys are a big fan of Red Dead Redemption, and you have any tips to share over the course of the next bunch of streams, please do. Please do. Can't wait for that Mesa release. I can't wait for that Mesa release either. Favorite circus band is ICP. Just the account. The password is an email they sent you. Yeah, always check your filters. Always check your filters. Stuff might be firing in your filters. Always check your spam filters and your other filters. I'll check all the filters. It's a company you've never received an email before, especially. And make sure you get on their mailing list, because I will tell you right now, from DB Quattro, the coolest thing is they'll get these vouchers that will work with their sale prices. So you could, in theory, say you're like coming off a good tax return, where you're coming off, like a nice paycheck, you could, in theory, go and buy all of their plugins for like a couple $100, like everything, or less. So if you use a few and dig it, they've got free trials. You'll be seeing some DB Quattro here in the near future. I didn't hear back from our good friend. We didn't hear back from Edson on what he wanted to do for us. So maybe we won't do Freeware Friday. But man. Love Red Dead Redemption. How do I know that? How did I know that Kazrog plugins are some of the most musical? Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And if you guys are in contact with Shane and you're regularly on Kazrog social media. Wow, I'm just skipping over my words today. I'm trying to talk too fast. Make sure that you speak with them and say, what would be cool? This idea that I heard about. Why not? So I'm gonna spend a good hour of my evening devising not only an email but a product plan, a full product idea plan and a layout. Make it look nice and pro. I'm gonna send it over and say, listen, I put a lot of time into this. Can you have a look? And the worst that can be said is, that's a great idea, but no thank you. I'm very busy. No problem. At least you looked at it. Thank you very much. Just because you're not an ICP fan, you're a Juglet fan for sure. Jeez Louise, the amount of unpacking that we could do with that. Heroes of Might and Magic 3, that's your video game? I mean, you're going to go to the gathering of the Juggalos? I see a lot of videos that lead me to believe that seems like it's not necessarily the place. How do I explain this? It's a place that I think I like watching videos of other people spending their time, because I find all the videos, there's a wealth of them right up here. If you type in Gathering of the Juggalos, you're going to get so much content that's going to pop up, and it's going to be great. You're going to have fun. I promise. Shane is a super nice dude. I agree. I could not agree more. And I'm hoping, I've really supported everything he's done over the years. And I hope that, that he'll listen. Never been gifted, always purchased all of his plugins. Never, I think I asked for an NFR, but then ended up instead just buying it because I realized the price was only $50 for Ampcraft. So that's pretty sick. All right. So, guys, out of here, thank you very much for being here. Like and subscribe. Please do. We appreciate when you do that. It makes things work for us. And I will see you guys definitely next time. Next time is going to be next week is my last week off. So I'd like to do some streaming next week, guys. That's my last week off. So Monday through Thursday. Look around. Keep your ears and your eyes peeled as I may pop in and out on Monday through Thursday for certain. Friday Monday through Friday rather. The weekend is also kind of open, being a Labor Day weekend. It's the last weekend before I go back to school, as I like to call it. And you guys can all remember the last weekend of summer freedom before you went back to school. Well, I feel that each and every year. You feel the same feelings as you did when you were a kid. So right about now, I'm just looking to chill out for the rest. So I definitely want to do some streaming, hang out with you guys. So next week, if there's something you'd like to see, let me know. You can always just email me saying, hey, it'd be cool, really cool if you did a stream about this or that or the other thing. The amsimuniverse@gmail.com. Don't forget, email me if you guys have ideas for streams. I don't mind. I really don't. So in the next week or so, I'd like to do some brand specific. Did a Bogner stream the other day that we ended up nuking because there was a couple of problems with a couple of plugins, and I left something on that I wasn't. It was silly. So, but it gave me a good framework of what I'd like to do is go start to finish, oldest to newest. If there's a brand you guys would like to see me focus on, all of the plugins from said brand, also let me know. Email me, no problem. Same team members, if there's something you want me to do, let me know. Fender, no problem. Marshall, we've done it before, no problem nonetheless. Mesa Boogie, no problem. We can do that too. We can go through oldest to newest, talk about the amps, etc. So let me know what you guys would like to see in the next week, and I will see you then. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you guys next time.
Everybody's got a price. Everybody's gonna pay. 'Cause the $1 Million Man always gets his way.
Money, 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 money.
Some might cost a little. Some might cost a lot. But I'm the $1 Million Man. And you will be bought.